Void Janitors Devlog number 001. Before we could clean the station, we had to build it. Games are where I go to prove to myself that I actually know what I'm doing. Me, probably at 1 a.m. on a Tuesday while my daughters are asleep and client emails are still sitting in my inbox. Who are you, and why should I care about your game? Fair question. Let me back up. My name is Daniel Bryant. I'm the owner and chief creative officer of Kloud Pixel Studios LLC, a small digital-first creative studio based out of Newburg/Rolla, Missouri, that I co-own with my wife Tiffany, who handles operations as COO. KPS is our main gig. We do web design and development, graphic design and branding, and custom software and app development. It's a lean operation. It's essentially the two of us, building a real business from the ground up, taking on clients, completing jobs, managing invoices, running social media, building our own SaaS tools on the side, all of it. If you've ever tried to start a business, you already know there's no such thing as a slow week. On top of running KPS, I'm also a full-time college student at Southern New Hampshire University, working toward a Bachelor of Science in Game Programming and Development, expected 2028. I already hold an AAS in Computer Information Systems from OTC, which is where a lot of the foundational programming concepts clicked into place for me. And on top of that, I'm a full-time dad to two daughters, ages 10 and 11, who need homework help, rides to activities, dinner on the table, and a present father who actually shows up. That part is non-negotiable, no matter how deep into a blueprint graph I happen to be. Oh, and before any of this, I spent 8+ years as a welder and fabricator. That background matters more than you'd think. Fabrication teaches you to think in systems, to understand how individual parts interact under stress, and to respect the difference between something that looks finished and something that's actually built right. I carry that mentality into every line of code I write and every feature I design. I'm telling you all of this not to brag or to collect sympathy points. I'm telling you because context matters, especially in indie development. Void Janitors isn't being built by a full studio with a dedicated team, a budget for middleware licenses, and 8 hours a day to devote to development. It's being built in the margins, on evenings after client work is wrapped, on weekends when the girls are with family, on stolen lunch breaks when a particularly thorny blueprint problem has been rattling around in my head all morning. Every commit to this project is a small act of stubbornness. If you follow this devlog, you're going to get the honest version of indie development. The wins, the walls, the why is this only breaking on the client moments at midnight, and everything in between. What is Kloud Pixel Studios actually? KPS launched in October 2025. Our trifecta of core services, web design and development, graphic design and branding, and software and app development, covers the three areas where I feel genuinely confident delivering professional grade work. We also offer social media management, custom apparel, and custom vinyl graphics as secondary services. The game development side of KPS is real and intentional, but it's positioned differently than our client work. Games are our proof of craft. They're the most complex, most technically demanding thing a programmer can build, and if you can architect a fully replicated multiplayer session with custom physics, server authoritative RPCs, networked UI, and a live filth tracking system, you can absolutely build a client's web app or custom software platform. The skill is the same, the discipline is the same, the problem solving is the same. Void Janitors isn't a side hustle or a pet project we're hoping goes viral. It's a deliberate, serious release. Our first fully completed multiplayer Unreal Engine 5 game. And we're building it with the same standards we apply to paid client work. A history of starting over and why that's actually fine. Before I tell you about Void Janitors specifically, I have to be honest with you about my history with game development, because I think it's a story a lot of solo developers will recognize. I've started a lot of games that didn't finish. Not because I ran out of passion, the opposite usually. I'd start something, learn a ton, hit a wall that I didn't yet have the knowledge to climb, and eventually recognize that the cleanest path forward was a fresh start with everything I'd just learned baked in from the beginning. Every abandoned project was an education. Every clean start was me leveling up. Here's the actual catalog. Every release title and every honest lesson that came with it. Cano Whoop As, a browser-playable stickman RPG side-scroller, free to play right in your browser on itch.io, built with procedurally generated levels, multiple game modes, campaign, endless survival, 1v1, and a sandbox, and a wide assortment of melee weapons and guns. It's exactly as unhinged as the name suggests, and it proved that a small, self-contained game with a strong personality can find its audience. It runs in the browser, which means anyone with a link can play it with zero friction. That accessibility lesson stuck with me. No safe haven. A fast-paced 2D zombie shoot-'em-up built around a custom procedural generation system that ensures no two runs are ever the same. Shifting biomes, randomized layouts, wave-based enemy encounters, loot and upgrades, escalating boss fights. It's a proper roguelike arcade game, and it's free to download for Windows. The procedural generation work on this one was a genuine technical challenge, and getting it feeling right took real iteration. It also taught me the value of putting something into players' hands early and letting feedback shape the direction. Starwood Hollow, a 2D action platformer built in Raylib, featuring a brave alien wanderer stranded in a mysterious woodland crawling with cosmic horrors. It has a dynamic difficulty system, skill-based dodge mechanics with invincibility frames, structured levels with boss encounters at the end of each, and a progressive scaling system that ramps up the danger the further you get. It's currently in early access at $2.50, with updates released regularly, and buyers get the full finished game at no extra cost as it develops. Starwood Hollow is the project that taught me the most about game feel. The difference between movement that works and movement that feels good to control. The Dusk and Dawn Cafe, a cozy, narrative-driven visual novel built in Ren'Py. You take a job at a back alley cafe that's open from dusk till dawn, and your customers are ghosts with lingering regrets, fox spirits with trust issues, and demons with gentle hearts. The core loop combines a unique drink crafting system with branching dialogue that shapes each character's story and your own. It plays in the browser and has Windows, Mac, Linux, and Android builds. Working on this one was a masterclass in a completely different kind of design. Building empathy through character writing, building systems that feel meaningful at a small scale, and understanding that a game doesn't need explosions to be engaging. It's currently in development with more content on the way. The Trenches. This one is the big one to talk about, because it's my first Unreal Engine 5 game, and it's exactly as ambitious and messy as that sentence implies. The Trenches is a gritty, story-driven, first-person zombie shooter, where you play as Caden Hale, an ex-soldier dragged into a viral apocalypse that started on his own street and spirals out into a cross-country journey, a shipwreck, and a mysterious island shrouded in secrets. The scope of this game was, and still is, enormous. Cinematic presentation with full voice acting, custom metahuman characters designed specifically for each role, unique outfits, realistic ballistic gunplay with proper bullet trajectory, multiple weapon archetypes, dismemberable zombies, a full dialogue system with animated cutscenes. I poured everything I had into this game's production quality, and I built all of it without a GDD, without a clear scope boundary, without the hard-won knowledge of how fast ambition can outpace a single developer's bandwidth. I learned all of those things by doing this project. The Trenches is currently paused, not canceled, and my plan is to finalize the first level, polish it up, and release it as a free standalone experience on itch.io. Consider it a proper demo of what the full vision looks like, and a thank you to anyone who's been watching from the beginning. The full game remains a long-term goal that I may revisit in the future, should life allow me to give it my full attention.
The lesson I learned is that each of these projects move the needle. Everyone left me with a cleaner mental model of what it actually takes to build and ship a game. By the time Void Janitors came into focus, I felt, for the first time, like I actually had enough in my toolkit to see a multiplayer game through to completion. That was a significant moment. I want to be clear about what I mean. I don't mean I knew everything. I mean I knew enough to know what I didn't know, and I had enough confidence in my ability to solve problems under pressure that the unknowns didn't feel like stopping points anymore. They felt like the next thing to figure out. That's where Void Janitors was born. The concept. What is Void Janitors? Void Janitors is a 1 to 4 player cooperative multiplayer party game built in Unreal Engine 5. You and your crew are custodians aboard Calypso 9, a deteriorating deep space station slowly drowning in its own debris. Your job, the only job, is to clean it up before the filth accumulates past the point of no return. You'll grab debris, carry it across the station, and dispose of it in designated disposal chutes before the timer runs out and the mothership decides you failed your contract. Here's the wrinkle. Not all debris cooperates. Some of it explodes. Some of it slimes the floor and sends players sliding. Some of it discharges arcs of electricity that stun anyone nearby. Some of it phases in and out of physical existence and can only be grabbed during specific windows. The station itself isn't exactly stable either. Your increasingly irritable mothership AI overseer has a habit of triggering environmental events at the worst possible times. Gravity flips, lockdown shutters slamming closed across corridors, creature releases, power surges that knock out your equipment. It's chaos. It's intentional chaos. The design goal was always a game that's simple enough to understand in 30 seconds, but feels alive, unpredictable, and genuinely funny to play with friends. Think of it as part party game, part cooperative survival puzzle, with a healthy dose of why is this garbage can on fire? Core design pillars. Cooperative chaos. Players win or lose together. The filth meter is shared. Emergent comedy. The funniest moments should happen naturally, not be scripted. Low floor, high ceiling. Anyone can pick it up. Experienced players can optimize routes, coordinate pickups, and manage threat priority. Replayability through randomness. Debris spawns, mothership trap timing, and environmental events keep sessions unpredictable. Accessible multiplayer. No paid server infrastructure. Peer-to-peer via Epic Online services. Pick up and play with friends. Scalable content. Launch with a solid core, expand map sections and debris types based on player interest. If you're interested to hear all the details about the development of Void Janitor up until this point, I encourage you to read the full blog available on the official Void Janitor devlog, found on the voidjanitor.itch.io page. Until next time.